So it seems like just a couple of weeks ago, I did a video on a brand new Sora Dora fragrance. And of course, this is a brand that is based out of Paris, France. Here we already have another one. And the one that I was referring to, of course, is called Mallow. And that's a great marshmallow, sweet orange blossom, vanilla sort of a fragrance. Here we have a gourmand that tops that even. This one has Ceylon cinnamon, there's baked apple, puff pastry, plum, vanilla. It has a lot of gourmand ingredients in here, also some fruity ingredients. There is peach and apricot, and I'm really excited about this fragrance. If you look at this note breakdown, it is absolutely going to make your mouth water. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on it, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on the brand new Jany by Sora Dora, I'll tell you about the notes, the smell, the performance, longevity, comparisons, all that good stuff. I want to start the video off first by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and please give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me and this channel in general. So here we have a gourmand to end all gourmands. I'm looking at the note breakdown and I'm like, this can't be real. There's baked apple, there's cinnamon, there's puff pastry, there's vanilla, caramel, plum, heliotrope, which has an almond-like personality. It's either that or almond. One of those two is in the note breakdown. And then it also has some nutty notes. It has apricot, it has peach. This is a delicious fragrance. And my initial impression was going to be how much of this is going to smell like Dulce Diablo by Narcotica, because that also has this peach apricot vanilla caramel thing happening in there. And then of course there's been a few other fragrances that have sort of fallen in line with that personality, but this one with the cinnamon, the baked apple, and the puff pastry, it smells so delectable, so warm, so rich, so inviting, and it does have this culinary personality about it that I really enjoy. Nevertheless, I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. So in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get this melange of gourmand aromas. There's so much happening in here, and I'm thinking to myself, this is absolutely delicious. I want to eat this piece of paper right now. That's how confectionery it is in a way. It's not sugary, and I think that that's important to note. It doesn't have an overdose of ethyl maltol, which is used to create that sort of a sugary component in a lot of fragrances. Of course, if you're familiar with Angel by Thierry Mugler and any number of other fragrances that utilize that aroma chemical, here you have a sweetness that is established through a few other really unique notes and accords. Now, of course, puff pastry and baked apple, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, this is like being in a kitchen while, you know, these delicious meals are being prepared. The vanilla is a huge contributor. The plum is juicy and succulent. And of course, you also have the caramel, which is drenched so liberally on all of the other ingredients. And of course, you also have the peach and the apricot, but those are not the star players of this. The cinnamon spice is really what does it for me. And cinnamon can be used to make fragrances kind of rough, spicy, aggressive. It's been used in a chai accord in other fragrances like Chai by Baruti. Of course, cinnamon can also be kind of harsh depending on other spices with which it's combined, whether we're talking about clove or nutmeg or whatever, despite the fact that nutmeg is usually smooth. But here we have cinnamon kind of serving as the singular spice. That was a little alliterative. But we do have cinnamon kind of acting on its own. And I think it does more in terms of enhancing the sweet profile of the fragrance than it does in terms of enhancing the spicy profile of the fragrance. And I think that that's something that's really wonderful here. I think when you take the sweetness of the cinnamon and you combine it with this baked apple accord, and you have this generous dose, this generous helping of vanilla residing in the dry down, it creates this delicious, irresistible aroma that is hard to put down. And what I love, oh my god, what I love the most about this fragrance is the timing of its release. This is a fall staple. It's going to be a fall staple. You know, it's interesting because with Mallow, I've made that association between Mallow and fragrances like Love Don't Be Shy by Kilian or Oriana by Parfum de Marly. It was kind of in that wheelhouse, and what we're seeing here is a more unisex take on the gourmand genre. So if I had to be honest, I would prefer Jany over mallow for myself personally. In terms of smell, it's all subjective, so different people are gonna like different things, of course, but this stuff is a gourmand masterpiece. I mean, this is a fragrance that I am so glad that somebody made it, that somebody released it, because this is so different from any other gourmand that I've tried. And of course, I've tried a lot of other fragrances with vanilla and nutty tones and almond and plum and whatnot, but this stuff really takes the cake, pardon the pun. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, here we are dealing with a unique fragrance, and of course it utilizes ingredients that I've smelled a myriad of times in the past in other fragrances, but it manages to do things differently, which is quite impressive. In terms of the longevity on this fragrance, I would say you're going to get about a solid 8 hours. Projection for this one was good for the first hour of application at an arm's length. It became an elbow's length scent right around hour 5, a skin scent right around hour 7 or 8. It does have a lot of base heavy ingredients in here, which I think, you know, serve as fixatives, and they promote the enduring qualities of the fragrance. Now, the versatility on this one, like I said, it's better than mallow. So this one is unisex. I think mallow's unisex too, but this one I think is a fragrance that can be worn more comfortably by anybody, right? Despite your sex. I think this one is great for the colder weather, so fall and winter. I think this one would also work really well in a casual or a formal scenario. And I can see anybody of any age really wearing this one because it doesn't have that saccharine, cloying sweetness that can sometimes come across as juvenile. And in terms of the presentation, I think the presentation is beautiful. Same as mallow. I mean, it has this marble looking cap, and the bottle is very heavy, frosted glass, but it's not, you know, entirely opaque. My final verdict on this fragrance is this is a beautiful addition to the collection, and I love how it's keeping in line with the other fragrances that this brand has released. Uniqueness, originality, an addictive aroma profile, and I love some of the older ones, right? Like Greece and Vanuatu and Gladiator, and there's just so many fragrances to be discovered from this brand, so please do yourself a favor. If there's a way for you to get a discovery set, because this brand does have discovery sets, please do yourself a favor and get you one. I think there's a lot of really amazing fragrances to be explored in this brand. Anyway, thanks for watching. That was my review of Jany by Sora Dora. If you own or have tried this fragrance or any other fragrance from this brand, drop your comments down below and let me know, what is your favorite? What do you think of this brand, generally speaking? How does this compare to other French brands? So on and so forth. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. All of these things are absolutely free, but they would help me tremendously. Thanks again for watching. I love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow with a new episode. Bye.